recording. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. And here we are, nice little intimate group. And Amanda, Andrea, and Victor that is online in another country right now.
Hello.
And the three of us are House of Belluso. And what is House of Belluso? Well, basically, a few months ago, we decided to join forces and do something, create something with what we really wish to create. Basically, I'm talking about creativity now for our whole life. And we just sat down, the three of us, and just thought, what do we like doing? What do we enjoy doing? And the answers that came up were to travel the world, to eat well, drink loads of champagne, meet loads of wonderful, yummy people like you, and inspire these people and friends that we meet around the world, not only with our lifestyle and what we do, but with photography, since I'm a photographer. And Amanda and Victor are also great photographers, but they don't know it yet. And I love inspiring other photographers to grow and be more free in their creativity and not go into the funk of things of this reality, because there are different ways and other ways of being more creative and being more successful, and really getting out of your pictures exactly what you want. And whether it's technique with lighting or whatever, we'll be catering to all these things. So, and the content that we provide is going to be both online. So the first video is actually going to be published in just a few minutes, after this call. And then there's going to be another video that's longer and more published in just a couple of weeks. So we're growing with all this. But also, as most of you know, a lot of you know, is seminars and workshops that we do all over the world. And on our website, which is live now, but it's not public, it's not launched yet, there's going to be also like a calendar, a schedule of all these things that we do. And so that you can follow us and see when and where you can come and see us live, when you can have a live workshop. And the workshops normally are restricted to a maximum of 10, 11 photographers. So I try and keep it quite small so that I can put my attention to every single one of you. And the seminars are a lot larger, of course. And if we go to the Middle East or Asia, we reach numbers of like between 600 and 800 people in a class. So it really varies and it depends. So we do all of that. We do also, we're going to provide, we started already a few months ago and it's been a big success on personal one-on-one coaching. We've had people that have come to us here. We have been to, well, I have been to Paris to coach a photographer for 2 days for specific things. So it's really varied. And our main goal is to give you the tools to be more creative, to have, to bring your photography to have more fun, to bring your photography in your life to a totally different level. And we can do that in any way that you really desire. So this call today is about finding out what you truly desire, not in how you want to do it, because there I said we're free to do it either on a Skype meeting or on a Zoominar like this if it's a smaller group or a larger group, or even in person, or through the material that we will be producing for you and are already producing for you. What we are looking for this evening with this call is actually to find out the subjects and how technical or inspirational or both you guys want to go. So having said all that,
Please do interrupt us at any time.
Yeah, unmute yourselves.
This one speaks fast.
I can speak for hours and fast, so please do unmute yourself and interrupt me. It's not rude. So is everybody online at the moment all photographers?
Who is not?
Who is not a photographer?
I used to be.
You used to be. Okay. Amanda believes she's not a photographer, which is rubbish. Ilva, you're a photographer? Yes? Yes, cool. I thought you made a sign there. And House of Belluso is not only for photographers. Dalbir, welcome, my friend. So House of Belluso is not only for photographers, although our main target group is photographers. But a lot of the tools that we use for being more creative are really for everybody. And then, of course, we can go more technical if you guys want to do that. If you want to talk about light shaping tools, cameras, or how to do certain things, then we're there to be there for you. Okay, Dalby was just sending us a little message on the chat here. So do we have any questions that that are coming up for any of you right now?
This is your chance, guys. Pick this guy's brain. There's a lot of information in there. And also, what is it that you would like to see more of in this community and in the world of photography? What do you think is missing? Because there's plenty of courses and classes and teachers and educations and photographic schools, and there's a lot out there, of course. But what do you think is missing? What would you like to see more of?
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I really think what's missing, there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of technical and practical, come and do it with us and build and grow. But I think there's a lack of connection to the feeling around photography, and actually bringing in that why do you do it? It's reaching a point where it's not about the equipment on a certain level, but it's still missing that because you love it, because it creates something.
Totally. Totally. I'm so glad you say that. Alex, I'm really, really grateful for your input there, because that's one of the main reasons why we created House of Belluso as well. Because, as you say, there's a lot of technical stuff out there. You want to buy a lens, you go out there and you know exactly what to buy. You want to know. Well, no, you don't. It's a jungle. You want to know how to take a portrait? People will tell you how to take what they think is a perfect portrait, and that's an interesting point of view as well. But on the more inspirational level, or why we want to shoot and how we should be in order to create the feel that we want in our pictures, how to go about and do that, there's very, very little, if not nothing. So we will be providing a lot of stuff on that. So that's going to be right up your street. And in fact, the first long product that we'll be putting on our website is something that I did. It's a recording, a video of a conversation that I had at the Standout Forum with Phase 1 and Profoto last week here in Stockholm. And the subject for once was not about lighting or about anything like that. It was about competition among photographers. And it was a very, very interesting conversation because, a lot of photographers really buy into the competition thing. They think that we have to compete with each other. They think that the market is over-flooded. There's too many of us. The prices are going down. And all that crap that keeps us stuck and not being creative. Yeah. So this call I strongly recommend it because when I do these things, I never know where it goes because it really depends on where people actually are willing to go and how far they're willing to be pushed. And I do push.
And we got some brilliant questions.
We got some fabulous questions. And I think that there were like 60 people in the room. And I think that 99% of them got something out of it and came out of there with another mindset of how to instead to fight with each other and not be part of this community. We actually tend to isolate ourselves and see everybody else as an enemy, which is really destructive. It's really not creative. So this talk is really, really good for that. And the input for all the participants is vital for something like this. And we were really, really happy with the outcome. So we're just editing the video that we shot basically of this conversation. It's the whole conversation that is going to be out there. So it's over an hour of material with a lot of tools, a lot of fun things, and a lot of good questions. So, watch that one. And that's going to be one of the first ones, but loads more material like that, Alex, especially for you.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
Cool.
We got a cool question here from Dalby in the chat.
Yeah.
This
Dalbir, that is a great friend of ours, a fantastic photographer.
Yes.
Is actually part of a duo, Dalbir and Rotimi, two fabulous friends in London. And he's asking, Andrea, what is currently inspiring you with your photography? Well, what inspires me all the time with my photography is life. It's from when I wake up in the morning to when I go to sleep, and while I sleep in my dreams or whatever it is, wherever I go when I'm sleeping. So everything is an inspiration. You guys right now, this is inspiring me as well. And if you live your life in a certain way where you're actually being a photographer, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. If you're being a photographer in your life, you pick up inspiration every single second of your life. And being a photographer, I'll tell you what it means for me. My first day as a photo assistant when I was 16 years old was with Bardo Fabiani, and he told me one simple thing. He told me, I'm not going to teach you anything. And as a 16-year-old third assistant in those days, I was kind of a little bit confused because I was there to learn. And he told me, well, how can I teach you? Why do you want to be a photographer? And I said, well, because I like seeing things and observing things in my life, and I like to recreate those things or just be inspired by those things and create something to show the world in my way. And he said, well, yeah, exactly. So how can I help you with that? Because the only way you can see and observe things is with your eyes. I cannot be inside your head. So first of all, learn how to observe and see things around you. And then from that, you will learn by watching me. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions for you. And that was the best lesson in photography ever. And that, for me, was the lesson in how to be a photographer. In other words, observing anything that happens all day long in your whole life. And if you do that, and observing not in a critical way or looking at details, no, I'm just really mean being present in your life. And if you're present in your life, you will see situations can be as simple as being in a cafe and you're being served your cappuccino, and just the way that the waiter or waitress is serving you the cappuccino shows you different things, and it creates images in your mind. That's being a photographer. Whether you choose to create a picture out of that or not, that is up to you. But basically, that is what's inspiring me all the time. One other thing that is inspiring me more in particular right now, I'm not saying that I want to do that kind of picture, but it's just an inspiration for what else is possible, is that we met this wonderful duo and couple a few days ago, actually at the Stand Up Forum, and we had a chat with them. They were also publishing for free to everybody out there, available this evening, with Pratik Naik and Bella Kotak. So an amazing retoucher, really amazing top-end retoucher, and a fabulous photographer. And her work is a true inspiration for me. The way that she works with flowers and compositions of flowers, and the way that Pratik retouches the whole thing and puts it all together, creates pieces of art that are beyond anything that I can say. And
I'll write their names here in the chat, so you can check them out.
Check them out.
Because they're amazing.
Yes, and their names will be in the link for the video as well. Yes, Pratik and Bella are fantastic target. And we had this fantastic conversation with them last night, and that you can all watch. And it's actually
on YouTube already.
Yeah, it is actually on YouTube.
You can go to YouTube and search for House of Belluso, and you will find the video there with Pratik and Bella.
Yeah, but
it's a really cool conversation.
We will post a direct link on the chat in case you've missed it right now, or you are so focused that you're listening to us. But what this meeting with Pratik and Bella created was, first of all, seeing another way of looking at things, and their way of looking at things and creating images, which is truly inspiring. So that has given me as a photographer and image creator a lot. And also what it created, another thing, is that I'm here as a photographer talking about another photographer very highly and promoting her work and really pushing her out. I actually, I'm giving both of them actually name to one of my absolute biggest clients. Does that happen in this world of photographers these days? No. because we feel that we have to hold on tight to our clients and not share them. And it's quite the opposite. I feel that somebody has something more or different to contribute than what I have, I'll gladly put the name out there with any of you. So I hope that answered your question, Dalbir.
So is competition a subject that you guys think is worth talking about? Is it? No?
Yes, no. Yes, okay, yes, okay, cool, yay.
Cool, that's really
cool. And
yes, we would like to come to Colombia. Bring us to Colombia.
Yes.
I want to come to Colombia. I've never been there.
I've been there a few times.
I want to go there for sure.
Huh?
I want to go there for sure.
Yes.
Bring me.
There we go. We'll go, there we go. Victor is also known as Vigo for close friends, and he's also known as Sexy Victor. And Colombia, and he froze. And Colombia is a place that I really adore. I mean, I just know Bogota, but I've been there a few times, and I would love to go back. So let's try and organize it. And we are creating a world tour for next year. So we're planning to visit great parts of this beautiful world.
Sorry, was it just me that lost you there for like 20 seconds?
I think it was you that
I think it was just you, yeah.
Oh, okay. You said something about me. I was curious.
We just said Sexy Victor.
We just said that you're known as Vigo or Sexy Victor.
It works.
And Dalbir just wrote something brilliant in the chat, which is that I feel that if you are true to yourself and your creativity, you shouldn't really need to worry about competition.
Totally right.
So
totally
true.
right. So true. So true. Dalbir, watch this conversation, this thing. And as you know, by the way, you guys that are online now are actually part of a little competition. We're giving away.
Talk about competition.
Talking about competition. Let's create some competition.
That's not the point.
No, contest. Let's call it contest. Let's call it lottery. Lottery. That's better. Lottery is fun. And we're giving away 2 free subscriptions for a whole year, starting now but ending at 31st of December 2018, so more than a year. And what's included in that is all our online material. And of course, we will have a lot of free online material, like the chat with Pratik and Bella is totally free. There's things that we shot at our castle in northern Italy that we'll talk more about a little later. There's a lot of free material from that, and we will be producing free material all the time. But if you want to go a little bit more in depth, then there's material that will be paid that you can either buy each one separately, depending on what interests you, or you can buy a subscription to make the whole thing cheaper. And thanks. I was hearing myself there. So the subscription makes it cheaper, and then you have access to everything. And the VIP subscriptions that we're giving out today, 2 of them, are actually including VIP passes. And what does that mean is that if we do something in Paris, for instance, and it's a seminar that costs X amount of money, plus a workshop that costs X amount of money, and the workshops normally are quite expensive, as you know, with any photographers, you get to come in for free. Yes, and if there's a queue, you'll be on top of the queue and guaranteed to come in. And also, you will get, with tonight's lottery, you will get, 2 of you will get half an hour of private coaching with us. So either on Skype or live when we meet. You choose. So it's pretty cool, right?
And the only thing you need to do to be in this lottery is to sign up here, which I'm sending the link now. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, so
there.
So if you sign up there, we will
have it in the chat now, the link.
Yeah. So click on that link. If you fill that in, you will be part of our newsletter for House of Belluso. So you will be updated also when things happen, when there's new material, when there's different things that are fun for you guys. And so we will be picking 2 names, purely random. We'll just be putting the list in front of us on the computer, close our eyes and just go, this person and this person. And that's how we do it. Okay? So
Make sure to sign up.
make sure to sign up, and it's only reserved for you guys that are online right now. Any more questions, guys? Signed up? Yes, Talbir.
So what else would you like to have more of? What else could we produce for you guys? What are you interested in to have more of?
You don't have to answer all at once. Okay, so is it more technical stuff that you're out after?
We'll take that as a no.
We'll take it as a no? I think a bit of both from Dalbir, yes. More lighting setups and tutorials. Absolutely. We'll be doing a lot of that. That's very good. Anything in particular with lighting?
Yeah, what kind of lighting are you interested in? Ilya, was it?
Ilya, we unmute you now so that you can actually tell us. You can hear us? Yes?
He froze.
Oh, Ilya, you froze. Fashion lighting. Okay, cool. All right, so it is interested in fashion lighting, and there's plenty of that. We're just touching the surface in terms of what, and lights, where are we? In terms of the different modifiers, yes, Dalbir, yes, of course. I do a lot of that. I don't know if you guys have seen my videos on YouTube with Profoto. I do a lot of that, and I love doing that because there's so many light shaping tools out there, especially with Profoto, and every light shaping tool does its own thing. So, and I love explaining the basic characteristics of each light shaping tool. And then you have to keep in mind also that there's other parameters. And I'll be doing a free basic video out there, and I strongly recommend all of you to watch this. This is not produced yet, but we will be producing it. And I've written a storyboard for it, and it's going to look really, really yummy as well. And it's out there not only for you guys high-end, like, you know, Dalbir that is out there, and you other guys that I know, and Alex, I know that you know your lighting, but you just want to be more inspired to do other things. But it's also aimed to you guys and even people that are just starting off in photography and that are just starting to realize that lighting is essential to a good picture, or to any picture, actually. So we will be doing that video to explain this basic theory of lighting, because, you know, when you move light, different things happen, and I will be showing this in a very visual way. And then after that, we will be doing videos with all the different light shaping tools within the shoots that we do, inspiring that way.
Outdoor fashion lighting.
Yes, outdoor fashion lighting, absolutely. We'll be doing that as well. That's great. We're just making notes of all this. We'll be making notes on all this to produce the material that you desire.
Balancing ambient and strobe outdoors.
I agree. I think outdoor lighting is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a good subject. And I think more and more people are interested in that, actually.
Here's a really good question as well from Mario. When you have an idea, how do you think will inspire your lighting?
Wow, that's...
do you have time?
You have time? Because that's a whole subject in itself. I'll try and make it, I'll give you a little shorty on it, but I'm talking about this also in the competition call, the competition video that is going to be published within a couple of weeks, maybe we'll take to have it already next week. But I'm talking about this also in one of the videos made at the castle of how I'm choosing the location. And that it's regarding lighting as well. Basically, to make a long story short, what happens is that, you know, a few years ago, I've been shooting for over 30 years, and until a few years ago, I was not producing any hard light whatsoever. I was just shooting with softboxes because, you know, that's how I learned from, you know, when I was assisting, and I carried on with that because I felt that that was, you know, a nice way for me to be creative, which it wasn't. So I was just using softboxes in everything that I did. And if a client asked me to produce anything with hard light, I would just tell them to call another photographer because that was not my style. And that's pretty stupid and limiting. So then I took a break from photography for about 5-6 years. And then when I started again, I started asking myself questions on why this happened. And the reason was because I didn't know enough about light shaping tools and about the theory of hard and soft light and how you create it and what happens when you actually move the light, even just a few centimeters, you can really change everything. And we have different videos related to this on different angles, and you'll see that. And so basically what I do now, when I meet a client, I'm not going to be the one asking questions. So I ask the client, first of all, what the product is that we're shooting, what the target of the client's customers is, you know, how old they are, if they're male or female or both, and where they live, how much money they have to spend, you know, all these things. And then we start going into the story. I'm talking about commercial photography now. Then we go into the story of what the campaign should say and how the client has visualized it. And by me asking all these questions, I start getting the pictures alive in my mind. And by the time I leave this meeting with the client, the pictures are ready. They're done. The only thing that needs to be done is to actually take them physically. But the pictures are, the way I visualize them, it's extremely close to what I delivered to the client in the end, which means that after that meeting, I will make small sketches about how the lighting should look for the different shots of that job, and share this with my assistants. And when I get to the studio, the lighting is set up with specific modifiers and all of these things. Then the assistants have placed the lights, and what I will do in the studio is to actually set the light, which means physically taking each light shaping tool and each flash head and move it closer or further away or to the side or whatever in respect to the model. And that's how I set the lighting, which the only person that can do it is me, since I am the photographer and I am the one painting the light for that shot. The choice of hard or soft light is not even, am I going to shoot this with a hard light or a soft light? It will mainly be like the whole feeling of the picture, and then the modifiers will just come to me as ideas of this should be used for that should be used for that, and without going to reason and justification of what they do, but the knowledge of the basic properties of each light shaping tool is essential in order to be able to do this game. And that's something that we will be producing a lot of material of. And we actually have a collaboration with Profoto, because I can't say much, otherwise I'll be breaking certain agreements, but there will be material produced with Profoto more on a technical level with different light shaping tools coming up very soon. Okay.
I just posted a video now in the chat. You have the video with our conversation with Patrick and Bella. So it's a link to our YouTube channel. So yes. Go there if you want to see that.
Thank you, Celine. And Andrea is saying creative process and decisions from brief to final results. Yes, that's very good. That's another question that came up in what's coming about in the conversation about competition from the Standout Forum. And the thing that a photographer said was, how can I be creative being a commercial photographer when the client actually tells me how to take the picture and what they want of the final result? Simple little trick. Client is always right. Rule number one, if you're a commercial photographer. Client is always right. So deliver what the client wants. Then often I agree with the client, but very often, being the creative people that we are, we have ideas of our own. And if we are good commercial photographers, we actually know our craft is in knowing how to manipulate people into buying the product to be photographing by us lighting it and presenting it in the right way. And there are a million different alternatives to do that. And that's why there's millions of photographers out there, thank God. And everybody will do it different. And so if you feel that you're in a job where the client is asking you to do something that doesn't really align with what you feel would be the best results for your client, because that's what we do, is to cater for the clients, then be very fast in shooting, and I'm extremely fast. And one of my agendas is to get you to be faster in shooting, so you have more fun, produce more images in your day of shooting.
How do you become faster then?
Huh?
How do you become faster?
You become faster by knowing your lighting and by being more intuitive with your lighting setup, or by knowing already from before shooting how your lighting is going to be. What I see in a lot of photographers is that most of their shooting day is spent in actually setting lights because they don't have a clue of what results they want to obtain. So that's the point where I want to bring you all.
Would you say that it's having the knowledge and also trusting your own knowledge?
Exactly. Having the knowledge of the properties of the light shaping tools, having the knowledge of how lighting behaves, and then trusting your knowing, like Amanda says, in making the right choice for that picture. And I will teach you how to do that too. Teach you? No, I will show you how to do that. I don't teach.
And maybe also like to follow the energy, right? And not maybe overthink it all the time.
Yes.
Totally.
Definitely.
Following the energy of what is there. So very good, Victor, because...
Not be so scared of doing it wrong.
Yeah, there is no right or wrong.
Not getting the perfect picture. What if you can just play and experiment and try and see what shows up? Totally.
And it will show up a totally different way. So don't get stuck in your own thing. So thank you, Victor, for this input, because you might have made up your mind of how an image is going to be, and then you come to the studio several days after, or even months or weeks after you've made the decision, and the energy in the studio is different. Maybe because something, you did something that morning before you came to the studio. You saw something. The model has got another energy than what you expected or what you thought. Different things, a trillion different things can influence that energy. So follow the energy or to be prepared to actually change everything that you had planned on the spot. And if you have that knowledge that I said about the basic light characteristics of each light shaping tool and light behavior, then you can do that really fast in choosing, like Amanda says, by trusting your knowledge and really going there and doing these things. And then it becomes super fast, super easy, and extremely fun. So we will be doing a lot of material on that to bring you guys on that. So having said all that, if you become faster and faster, you produce what the client is asking from you in a very short period of time, which means you have more hours in that shooting day to actually produce what you believe is actually more right and more correct for the client without the client knowing it. And then you just put out the pictures there to the client, and you will see that those images that you created by following your knowing and following the energy of what is, and maybe even going totally against what the client asked, those are most probably the images the client will choose and pick if you don't tell them that what you did. It's a little trick that you have to keep secret for yourself. Okay, and the client will choose those images and saying, this is great. Please do not go there and say to the client, yes, but that I did, these extra pictures that we did, those are the ones, so you should listen to them. Don't go there. It's not, you just destroy the whole game. Just smile within yourself, pat yourself in the back if you wish, or whatever, go and have a glass of champagne and celebrate that trusting your knowing and following your knowing actually produced the results that you wanted. We have some more questions here. Where are we? You keep up to date with what is going on in the fashion industry and trends to maintain some sort of synergy, or totally do your own thing. Fantastic question, Dalbir. I used to go to every single fashion week of London, Paris, and Milan, sometimes when I could in New York. That was over 20 years ago. Then I refused to do it. I just simply hate Fashion Week because there's one thing about fashion. I love fashion photography. I love shooting fashion. I actually hate the fashion business. And that's the truth. And hopefully what will it take for it to change? And I hate it for the simple reason that it's very pretentious. It sets rules that are totally ridiculous. And it's based on, who you do drugs with and who you drink champagne with, who you sleep with, who you have sex. I'm talking bad about the fashion industry now. I know I'm exaggerating. I know, but let's keep it politically correct. Although I hate that word as well. That's what it was like until 3-4 years ago. If it's changed today, hey, wonderful. But I don't like playing games. Not unless they're fun games where it becomes creative. But those type of games are not creative. They're very distracted. They're very keeping people apart, creating small elites, and that's not what I desire to create in this world. Having said that, I love looking at fashion magazines. I love creating fashion pictures. I love creating fashion work, and I do know fashion. And the great thing about me having chosen Barbara Fabiani as the first photographer that I assisted, his parents were the two people in the world that started haute couture. Okay, it was Fabiani and Simonetta Di Cesaro. If you look it up, those are the two people that actually invented haute couture. So my biggest training, practical training, was actually in looking at fashion, was actually seeing fabrics, cloth, material, how they fall, how they flow if you throw them up, how they look when they're wet, and even going into details about seams. I know if a dress has got good seams or seams that are going to fall apart in a couple of months or in a couple of weeks.
I'll let him buy my clothes.
I buy her clothes. I buy her clothes. I choose her clothes because of this. And you can buy a dress that costs you a load of money, but if it's really badly made, it's a bad investment. You might as well buy something a lot cheaper that will last you at least for that night that you want to wear it. And I'm not just talking about quality and that. It's a lot of different things. And there's the reason why you're buying.
Dalbir buys his wife's clothes too.
Yes, I knew there was something with you, Dalbir. Yes, the minute that we met Dalbir and Rotimi in London, there was just such an amazing magic connection. So we will be creating stuff in London with Dalbir and Rotimi. So keep an eye out, guys. We've been working on this for months now. And what would it take for it to happen in the early 2018? I would love that to happen. But it doesn't surprise me you buy your wife clothes. And so I have a deep knowledge of fashion and garments production. I was working also for a fashion company. That's another story. There's a book being written about all that as well. So I hope you'll be reading it when it comes out. So fashion as such, of course, I read fashion magazines. I am out there and seeing what the trends are, but I'm not doing that to follow them. I'm trying to see what people's tastes are today, but don't forget that what you see in the magazines today were actually produced 3 to 6 months ago. So those are not that interesting to me if I'm producing a campaign or another fashion shoot for a magazine, because then I'm going to be a year out. If I look at a magazine that was produced where the pictures were actually produced 6 months ago or even 3 months ago, let's take 3 months ago, and I see the magazine now, and I want to do a shoot in the same way, inspired by that fashion now, by the time it comes out in another magazine, another 3 months, I'm going to be 6 months late. 6 months in fashion is an eternity. So those pictures, fashion-wise, are going to be old. So I use it as inspiration, but I would rather go to a museum and get inspired by different things. So I hope that answers your question. I think it was Dalbir that was asking the question.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
What are you doing the most? What do you mean? With what scene? What do you mean? Tell us more.
Have a good time.
What kind of photography are you doing the most?
Very good question. I mean, at the base, I am a fashion and beauty photographer. That's what I've been trained to do. That's what I've been doing most of my life. And throughout the years, especially friends and family were asking me to take their portrait. And, and people don't realize that it's not just to take a picture. It's a lot of work that goes there, and it takes time, which I love doing, of course, but all the time that I take away from my work into doing a portrait of a friend or somebody that I hardly know, especially, is time that I'm taking away from my work, and therefore I have to charge for this, right? So, and my question was like, if I'm charging my clients 8,000 euros a day, I can't charge a private person 8,000 euros for taking their portrait for a day. It's ridiculous, it's just not going to work. So I've been thinking about how to make it work, both for me and for people asking, because the demand was just growing and growing and growing. So I came up with dividing my day into 1 hour slots and cutting the price a lot lower. Yes, pricing, Dalbir, we'll be talking about that in a minute as well. And that's a conversation in its own too. Great question. So on that daily rate, we split it into hours. And from those hours, we've given a discount. So we are now I'm now shooting private sessions, private portraits, and a lot of them all the time. And the funny thing is that I thought that I would not enjoy it half as much as I do. Because that space of taking portraits of people or doing private sessions, as I call them, you're actually working with a person, and it's different agendas why somebody wants their picture taken. It could be a profile picture for social media. It could be a campaign that they're doing for their social media. It could be book cover. It could be album cover. It could be different things. And then you're actually playing with the person. And my shoots, more than just taking the picture, are actually facilitations using certain tools that we use to get the person to really deliver the energy that they wish to have in the pictures in order to create the effects that they desire to have. So it's become a fabulous game that I play with the people I'm photographing. So I'm doing a lot of that as well. So to go back to your question, Celine, fashion and beauty, portraits. A couple of years ago, I started shooting cars and food, and I never shot cars or food before in my life. So Cadillac called me.
You just did beds.
I just did beds for the first time in my life as well, with the Sleep Revolution. And these clients come to me because they realize exactly what I'm trying to get you guys to do, and to be so in tune with your lighting that you can create any lighting for any product and sell it in the best possible way in your own way. So then there is no competition anymore, because we will all do it different. We will all deliver a totally different energy. That's the beauty of it. There is no competition, really. Yes, I'm doing fashion, beauty, portraits, cars, beds. I don't do kids, well, my son sometimes. And yeah, sometimes. It's not nice. No, I love kids. It's just that I don't know. Maybe it's an interesting point of view, and I'll get over it someday. I don't do animals for the same thing, except with our dog. I remember his dog, because he's not really a dog. He's something else. But I will shoot basically anything under the sun that has a nice energy to it.
And that is fun for you.
And that is fun for me. I mean, to give you an example, I had a whole period of my career a few years ago where I was shooting a lot of bridal wear, so wedding gowns, basically. So not wedding pictures. I do not do wedding photography. I refuse to do wedding photography. And that is how it is. I will not shoot your wedding if you ask me to. There will be a big no. The only way it could turn into a yes is to speak to my manager right here, and she agrees to a minimum price for shooting your wedding of, and here we go on to the next question. Good subject, pricing. Okay, how do I price shooting a wedding? Shooting a wedding is no fun for me, but I will do it for the money. So I'm just, yes.
At least you're honest.
I'm totally honest. Yeah. So I'm just going with the energy. What would make shooting a wedding fun for me? 30,000 euros.
Jesus.
Okay, you pay me 30,000 euros. I will deliver your pictures for your wedding, and I'll shoot your wedding. That's my rate today. Okay.
Will the pictures be good then?
Sorry?
Will the pictures be good?
The pictures will be fucking amazing. And that is a guarantee. The pictures will be absolutely awesome. But you give me total freedom of how to shoot your wedding, and I will do poetry in images. Guaranteed. Because then I will be having fun. And you might say, oh, but so your fun comes from the money? In this case, yes. You give me motivation. In this case, yes. And also because it means that if you're prepared to pay me that amount for shooting your wedding, you actually trust me to do my job. In other words, to have fun.
In your way.
In my way. Totally my way. You will not be going there saying, but you're missing the picture of the portrait with my grandma. Sorry, that was not in my cards. That never happened because I didn't see that shot and I was not going to construct it for you. You call another photographer for that you pay 50 euros. Okay, just for that picture. I don't care. And I might do it because I might get the image of you and your grandma and your future wife or groom to be. Whatever. It might happen. But then I understand that a person that will pay that much will actually let me do my thing. That'll be close to what we charge on. Yeah, well, yes. And you're doing it right. You guys, that'll be on your team, you do amazing wedding photography.
Yeah, it's
really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So if any of you are planning to get married, call these guys because they are fabulous. Okay? And
cool. Do you guys have any more questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to round off so we don't take too much of your time.
Yes, we need your feedback. Come on, talk to us. Talk to us.
Thank you for sharing all that, and it's really interesting for me because I used to be I wanted to be a photographer when I was young,
yeah.
And I was really in the fashion, and I love portrait too. So it's great to hear all that, and when I look at and very soon in early 1990. I found the creativity in fashion it was not really creative. I
know exactly what you mean. We know the whole grunge thing came in, especially it was just awful fashion out there, and it was not inspiring. The clothes were just not inspiring. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but now it's the same. I was looking at Elle last week, and it's still the same. Nothing.
Well, this is a great opportunity to come in and do our own thing.
Yes.
Because we go there, and that's what I'm saying. Do not follow. Fashion wants us to follow fashion, but what creates fashion? You know, in fashion, as you know, Celine, there's the God. What are they called? There's specific names. There's those that the trendsetters and the followers. So there's people that create the trends and people that follow the trends.
Humans?
Yeah, exactly. Humans and humanoids. So, so being on this side of the camera, so taking the pictures, we are in the position of being the ones that actually create the trends and not to follow. The big mistake that a lot of photographers do, and I made the same mistake in the 90s, was that I was trying to follow what was in then. We try and follow what the other photographers are using in terms of lighting. We try and follow and dictate to our stylists how to do the styling because that's what we see in the magazines. And we do all these things. But if you look at the big names, Mary Testino or any of the other big fashion photographers, do they do the same thing? No. They create their own thing. And that's what everybody is doing, is copying those people. They then get copied by other people and other people and other people. I mean, it's ridiculous. So the only way to make a difference is to do your own thing. If the fashion is not inspiring you now in terms of what is in the stores or what's in the showrooms, well, if it's fashion that you have to portray in terms of your work because you have to take pictures of that, then, I'm just getting a message here. You have something here?
Yeah.
Okay. And so if that's the case, that there is no fashion out there available to shoot the fashion that you have to shoot, get a very good fashion stylist, have a chat, and get inspired by different periods. If anything that is out there, you can actually change it with styling in terms of accessories, the way you portray it and everything else, and the way you light it especially, the models you choose, the hair and makeup. Don't follow, create your thing. Okay, that is really, really, really important if you want to carry on being creative and be different. I have nothing against copying. You know, another thing that I'm talking about in my competition called the standout is copying. There's nothing wrong with copying somebody, copying a picture, really copying the lighting, the fashion, the styling, the model's pose, and all of these things. There's nothing wrong in doing that if that is part of your process into finding your own way. So it's not an end to a means. It's actually a tiny part of the process if you need to go that way. But the goal is to actually create your own thing into being yourself as a photographer all the time, because that's the only way you're going to have fun. And the only way you're actually going to make your photography profit, a business, and being viable for you is related very much into how much you're actually having fun. Trust me on that one. Because the fun will not follow the amount of money, but the amount of money will follow the amount of fun. Be very careful on that. And always treat your photography as any piece of art. If I don't like that word, but I have to use it right now. And then I'm talking about whether you're writing a book, whether you're painting a picture or whatever, whether you like making sculptures, whatever it is, take that as a passion, something you're passionate about, but don't put the pressure onto your photography to earn you a living. If it does, great. If it doesn't, get another job, whatever. Do not put that pressure on your photography, because the minute you put that pressure on your photography, that's the minute your photography will feel the pressure and will stop giving you money. Trust me on that one. It sounds crazy, but it's totally, totally true. The more freedom you give to your photography in terms of pressure released, the more it will give you.
I'm going to write in the chat now a book tip for you guys.
Yes.
An amazing book that talks a lot about all of these things. The book is called Big Magic, and it's written by Elizabeth Gilbert, right?
Yeah.
Read that book. If you think that this is interesting, read that book.
Read that book.
Amazing.
It's if you are a creative person, which all of you in here are, please read that book. Do yourself a favor. Here we have a very interesting question as well. Is there any different way to light up interior projects or light shapers to use rather than traditional ways of wall bouncing flash and mixing it with ambient or room light? Yes, absolutely. There's a million ways of lighting interiors, just like there's a million ways of lighting a portrait. So I have friends that do a lot of interiors. They use beauty dishes. Some of them use narrow beam reflectors. Others use soft boxes. Others use wide zoom reflectors. And the list goes on and on and on and on. So any of those questions, please do follow us. Please do get our classes online or live, whatever it is, because I talk a lot about that. The main thing is for you to actually know what's right for you. And where I will help you, I will never, ever tell you this is how you light an interior, or this is how you light a car, or this is how you light a bunch of flowers. I will never tell you that. What I will tell you is how I do it in specific pictures, hoping that that will inspire you to find your own way to do it. What I will do is to tell you the properties of different light shaping tools so that you will find your own way to light an interior. And being totally honest with yourself, because it's only when you're totally being honest with yourself and having this knowledge of the way that lighting behaves and the different light shaping tools behave, when you have that basic knowledge and then you're totally honest with yourself in the choices that you make, that's when you will be producing the pictures that are absolutely magnificent, not only for you, but for your clients and everybody looking at them. Then we have a question from Daldir.
Last question, I think.
Yes, last question from today, unless you have a live question that I would like to have. But so Daldir says, any tips on how to model a bride, for example, when they are not models? It's rather easy with good models. When you do find posing people who are not models, much more difficult. Yes, I get what you mean, Daldir. And my biggest tip is to actually not model them at all, to actually let them be themselves. And then the best way is to maybe show images, either yours or magazines or whatever, to show the direction of where you're trying to go, to try and set the mood of the pictures that you're trying to create. But never tell your model, just move your head this way, open your mouth, put your finger here, and open your finger. I mean, that's a pain in the butt, right, guys? Exactly. So never do that.
And also, like, if it's a bride, talking like someone that was a bride a couple of weeks ago,
Ta-da!
ask her questions
Yes.
of what she wants.
Yes.
Because it's in the end, it's going to be her that is looking at those pictures for the rest of her life.
Exactly.
So make sure that she gets what she wants.
Exactly.
You do not want to piss off a bride by asking her questions.
No, there's a question.
Bridezillas, yes. Do not create bridezillas.
Don't create bridezillas.
No, but generally just ask people questions and see what makes them relax, and try and have as much fun as possible, because if you have fun, it's easier for them to have fun as well, of course. And just create a nice, relaxed atmosphere while you're taking the pictures, I would say, from the experience of being on that side of the camera.
Yeah.
But Andrea does what I think is amazing that I never had before, is that he actually creates a fun atmosphere to be around. And that for me is, when I'm in front of his camera, I'm relaxed and I'm having fun. And then champagne always works as well.
Champagne always works. Champagne is a good tip for most things in life. Yep. Champagne works. Are you using energetic tools? Yes, absolutely, totally, Celine. We use energetic tools all the time. So for those of you that are interested, what tools in specific we use the tools of Access Consciousness, and they've, for me, basically, they saved my life, but that's another story. And they're pragmatic tools that can get you more creative, that can get you out of the funk of things and really work with what's true for you. The thing that I like about Access Consciousness is that they don't tell you how to do things, which is something that we don't do either in photography, but they will actually try and get to...
It's based on asking questions.
It's based on asking questions to see what's true for you and only you. So there's nobody you have to listen to or follow or do as they say. No way. And that's what I love about it. And that's the same thing with us, is that I will never tell you, like I told you before, this is how you shoot a portrait, or this is how you do a lighting for a room. I'll never do that. I will try and inspire you how to get there yourself by asking questions and knowing. The only thing that I will tell you is the physical properties of how light behaves, and the physical properties of light shaping tools, so you can play with those. And that's energy as well, so you can play with those. But yes, do create a nice atmosphere, like Amanda said. And all of my shoots are fun. A lot of my clients say, but how come you never get in a bad mood like most photographers? A lot of the big photographers are really, a lot of the big fashion photographers, they're really like, moody in the studio. Why should you be that?
Suffering artist.
The suffering artist thing. Oh my God. Don't do that, please, guys. Don't do that. Have fun. It's all about having fun.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on. Really, a lot of
so
amazing questions. It's such a contribution to us to hear from you guys, because we're not creating all of this only for ourselves.
No, exactly. We're creating it for you guys, and it's like it's a thing that we do together. We can't do our work if we don't know what you like, and what we want to do is to get you to be more creative, so that you have more fun. And if we don't know what you want, we can't produce it. So
follow us everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, and everything, and make sure to sign up on that link that we sent in the beginning, so we get your email addresses, because in that way you're in this lottery.
Yes, and we will be announcing it within the next 20 minutes, I would say.
Jesus, okay.
Yes.
So you have to be fast.
You have to be fast. Within the next 20 minutes, we will be publishing the 2 winners of the subscription. And remember, those 2 of you that will be picked, you have half an hour each with us, either live if we meet in the same city, wherever we are, or we can do it on Skype as well when it works for all of us. And you can redeem this offer within this year that you have with your subscription of private coaching. Which could be anything. Could be anything under the sun. Okay, just ask the question. It could be, how do I get more creative into lighting portraits in different ways? Fine, let's meet, let's talk, and we'll get there. Or it could be anything, really anything. It's really up to you. Okay. And the one thing that we ask you for, a big favor, where we're totally new, although I'm not, but my body isn't, but I am. And but we're new as a company. We need to grow. We need you as well. In order to be able to help you guys, we need to keep growing, help us spread. So spread the news as much as you can if you enjoy what we do. So yeah, hope you like it. And if you have any questions, anything, we're here for you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Very inspiring. I remember the first time I saw you in Paris. And, yes, I didn't know where you were, who you were, and I came to see you and to say hi. I love you guys, and thank you so much because you are such an inspiration for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Celine.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon, hopefully.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. See you all very soon.
Thank you.
And look out for our world tour next year as well. We're publishing the dates on the House of Belluso website later on this year.
Lots of things coming up, so keep
lots
an eye out.
and lots and lots and lots. Okay? So see you all very soon. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.